3 tips for an easier, more enjoyable birth from me, Jessica, your birth bestie. Hi, my name is Jessica Friedman. I am a childbirth educator, a birth doula, and the founder of Mama Shakti Prenatal, and I wanted to share with you my 3 tips for having a smoother and more enjoyable labor and delivery experience. So I have had 2 unmedicated physiological births, and a lot of what I learned in my first birth, I took in and applied those changes to my second birth to make it shorter, to make my labor go more smoothly, have less pain, and just have a more enjoyable experience overall. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the fear, pain, tension cycle. And in that fear, pain, tension cycle, we can get caught up in the pain of the contractions, the fear of the unknown, and our body clenches and holds on to the pain and does not allow for baby to rotate and cervix to dilate, which really stalls our progression during labor. And we don't want that. So we can do things that break us out of the fear, pain, tension cycle. We can do things that prevent us from going into the fear, pain, tension cycle. And I discuss all of these in a lot more detail in my birth prep education courses, and I'll share more about those in the description. And basically, it's your body going into a kind of fight or flight response and shutting down and saying, I don't feel safe. I don't feel like my environment is safe for me to have this baby. And your body just stops progressing, and we can sometimes experience labor stalls, and we don't want that. So we want to do things that either break us out of that cycle or prevent us from going into that cycle. And I go over a lot of things that you can do with your birth partner and by yourself to, first of all, notice that the fear, pain, tension cycle is coming on, or that you are inside of this fear, pain, tension cycle. And there's a lot of nervous system regulation and reset things that you can do that break you out of that, so you can get into a more favorable labor pattern. Number 2 is pushing too early. Now, some people might say, I'm gonna push when I'm ready. And yes, I understand the overwhelming urge to push. However, that urge to push can come on before baby has fully descended through the pelvic levels. And if that urge to push comes on and baby's not passed through each pelvic level and you start to push, it's going to lead to an extended pushing time, which is going to lead to maternal exhaustion, frustration, a pushing time of 2 or 3 hours when, you don't have to have a long pushing time like that. So we want to make sure that baby has descended through each pelvic level and is at a station of +1 at least, or +2 before we start the active pushing. This is going to also be what helps the fetal ejection reflex kick in, and your body is going to work magically to help deliver this baby with limited effort on your part. Yes, there will be some effort, but not as much as there would be if you were trying to push a baby out that's too high and not ready to come down through the soft tissues of our pelvis to be born. So the third thing that we talk about is not staying properly hydrated or nourished during labor, especially toward the end of labor, really throughout all of labor, but toward the end when our uterus is contracting a lot and often, because those contractions are coming back to back. We need a uterus that's well hydrated and well nourished. And hospital fluids alone, IV fluids, do not do that. They don't do a good enough job keeping our body in a state of homeostasis, or in a really balanced state that helps it function at its highest level. So this is where things like drinking Gatorade or Labor Aid drinks, or eating those snacks that are going to nourish your body, are going to nourish your uterus and give you the energy and the endurance to make it through the last part of labor, which is often the hardest part of labor. So those are 3 tips for an easier birth. Again, I talk about all of these in great detail in your in my birth prep courses, which I'll share the details of those in the caption. And with the birth prep courses, I also gift you my online course called Your Empowered Pregnancy and Birth that has 12 hours of content that helps you feel really strong and confident during pregnancy. There's prenatal yoga classes, prenatal mobility and exercise classes, some birth education sprinkled in there. There's also birth prep classes, and there is postpartum, now 3 hours of postpartum content to help you really feel better after baby and slowly get your body function back to what it once was. So I'll put the details of those things in the captions, and I'm really glad to have shared this time with you. Please reach out to me with any questions. You can find my email address also in the caption. Take care, and remember, you've got this.